Hello everyone, it's Scott and welcome back to another episode of Agrarian Skies 2. So, I did a little bit of messing around with biomes and well, as you can see here, I now have some hell biome mixed in this little plains area. So, what I did was I took the here it is, terrestrial focus, placed on top of the terrestrial reformer, fed in some tenebrae essence, and proceeded to muck up some of the biome here in this grassy area. So the goal was I wanted to grow some infernal bees. Well, it turns out that these guys sting as they are flying around, so everything in a 5-block radius or so begins to hurt you. And so I ended up just disabling this. The infernal bees need a netherwort flower for them to pollinate, so I ended up taking that away. Likewise, yeah, the meadows. Interesting that says a hostile environment, hellish. Oh, okay, so I probably messed that up, or one of the. Let me move it over here. Yeah, I bet you the biome of this particular block changed. Yep, it did. So what I'm doing is I'm making another row here, just doing some testing. Just seeing what kind of bees I can mix up. So I ended up moving a lot of stuff around. So the seed maker, the squeezer, is still processing seeds. I have a pretty good amount of seed oil now. Now that I'm using industrial high apiaries, I don't really need the plain apiaries. I made a new processing area over here for honeycombs, and so a couple different varieties here of honeycombs are being manufactured, broken down into honey drops and other kinds of drops, where they're being fetched back into this chest using this retriever object. Over here, I'm then pumping this back out into a squeezer, which is then filling up a honey drum, which I can tap to analyze my bees if I so choose. Now, the next step of what I wanted to accomplish was to go beyond the basic bees. Oh, I should also mention that this project over here, the Hyacinth, was extremely successful, and as a result, I now have pretty much a bee of every single type. And so what I ended up doing is making I made a separate ME network over here with just a bunch of drives and a single ME controller, and that way I could keep the bees separate from the rest of my network. But if we take a peek in, you can see here that basically I have a lot of items that are specific to to the bees, just working with those sets of forestry mods. So if I were to look at the those that I pristine stock in, Infernal, I have some Modest, Mystical, which is, I believe, the Mystical is our Thaumcraft producing bees. Oblivion is going to be a tricky one because that's actually based in the end. So it seems like, from what I can research, the only flower, quote unquote, that activates a queen is the dragon egg, which will only spawn after the ender dragon is killed. So I hope I won't need to actually do that type of bee in any future quests. But same thing with unusual. So let's grab some unusual So we have mystical and unusual, so let's grab some drones. Mystical, drone, and hopefully I can just throw them in here. So mystical princess, mystical drone, unusual princess, unusual drone. And so what I've been doing is just throwing in some upgrades, and we'll see if there's any kind of, usually I wait for this to kick in to see if there's any kind of special requirements here. So far, none. So I think I'm pretty good in this regard. So I just need to wait for the bees to, well, to start producing stuff. So, Thumbcraft. So if we take a look down at the bees and trees quest branch, so what I think I want to do next is work on the laboratory setup. So these are going to need, okay, I made some upgrade frames. I'm going to need a couple of, let me just make my way over. This is so annoying. To our crafting area, and let's mix up a little bit of glassware. Let's check the quest again. So genetics labware and blank gene sample. So genetics labware. Oh, well, that's easy. And then a gene sample, blank gene sample. Oh, also very easy. Okay, so that's going to get me a couple of upgrade rewards. Great. Let's clean out the inventory a little. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use the apiarius chest anymore. But, which reminds me, so let's take a look back. So alright, well, let's just stick with bees and trees for now and try to keep working. So, next, upgrading the apiary. So I made a couple different types of upgrades so far. Looks like it still wants a heater and a plains emulation. So, plains emulation, well, actually, that's what I need back in that other broken hive. So let's grab one of those and let's grab a heater. So far pretty simple. What am I missing? A little bit of glass. Okay. I'm not sure if something is consuming my glass, but let's whip up a couple more, then make a heater. There we go. Back to the quest book and done. Next, with tree breeding, we just need to make a simple grafter. Okay, that's just bronze on the end of a stick, which of course I didn't prepare for. Okay. Grafter, ding ding, done. And that's going to give me an industrial grafter and another reward bag. And let's look at the genetic basics. So, genetic sampler, imprinter, and transposer. And this is what I'm going to need to start crossbreeding the bees. Basically get it to move between the different types. So let's make one of each of these blocks. Okay, so this is going to be a little wacky, it looks like. But we'll make sure that we grab enough here. So looks like I'm missing some power modules, which means I need a whole bunch of pistons. So let's do that. It's back to the power module. Let's see what I need here. I probably need some more gears. Yep, bronze gears. And then more bronze itself. So Let's make a couple more of these, the weighted platforms, so that way I can make the, let's see, what am I missing here? I'm missing the casing. Alright. Well, I made one of them. Okay. Imprinter and sampler. It's going to need receptacles. One more piece. Power module. Done. Imprinter. Next is the sampler. And done. I made that transposer, so let's go with the replicator next. Alright, so the replicator is just going to need a couple more power modules and one more casing. Great. And that should cover all the genetics pieces that I need, which will give me some genetic templates. Great. So, genetic sampler samples the DNA of bees and saplings. Basically makes blank. I can use that blank gene sample to imprint whatever I'm trying to breed. So let's empty the inventory a little and grab those rewards. Great. So further meddling is going to need a Mutatron. So this is where it really starts to get interesting. Yep, I'm going to be missing a lot of things here. Okay. Let's make a couple more receptacles, which means I need glass pane. Mutagen tank, I'll need one of those. I'll need a couple more casings. Now, why don't I just make, use the formulas I've already produced. I should probably make one other receptacle, but you know, I'm almost done with this quest line, so I don't really need to go through this. I'm short of a whole bunch of bronze. Okay, let's make another 100 of that. And back to the Mutatron. Alright, so number one, we've made the Mutatron. Next we need the, what looks like, the Mutagen processor. Okay. Which will be this guy. So, then the another tank, going to need a hopper. And that should be everything. Alright, Mutagen producer. Great. So, if you're tired of putting bees together, yes. And waiting, yes. Try the Mutatron. Okay, so for this I'm going to need to melt down a couple of materials. Namely, if I melt down the yellorium, that seems to be the largest producer of the mutagen material. So if we head over here, see if I can find the formula. I gotta right click. Okay, here we go. So in the mutagen producer, one yellorium ingot is going to produce 1 bucket of mutagen, and that's the best producing item in the game. So let's check out the quest book. Oh, okay. Further meddling is done. Guess I forgot to check that in. And then gene samples. Oh my gosh. So this is going to be, I'm going to need to produce wax from each of the different bee types. So yes, I'm going to make sure I can mutate each of these different, I'm going to have to grow a hive of each of the bee types. And let me see how many of these, oh my gosh. This is not good. Okay, well, I guess by having the hell biome here, pigs seem to just want to spawn, well, wherever they want to. So let me clean these guys out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and actually a lot of time has passed here because I placed down all of the machines. I did a lot of investigating about what I need to do to work through the quest book. And so the last part of the bees and trees involves the samples. And so it turns out that this, these look pretty innocent. Oh, you only need 16 of these phosphor and amnesiac wax. Well, it turns out that these are completely different ends of the bee genetic system. So if we take a look at everything that we need to make, I've gone and categorized it on a work wall here, because that's how I work the best. So in order to make all of these waxes, so let's just pick one. Let's say to make the I don't know, destabilizing drop. Okay. Well, I had to basically data mine the NEI system here for destabilizing drop. It comes from electric combs, which come from destabilized queens, which come from spiteful and industrious, spiteful princess and industrious drone. So I had to go through and said, oh, okay, well, spiteful is made out of XYZ. Spite is infernal and hateful. Infernal and hateful come from, well, infernal is one of the bees that we get from the Botania flowers. Hateful comes from infernal and eldritch. Eldritch is a pretty basic one that's going to, where is it? See, that's the problem. There's now so many. Eldritch comes from unusual and cultivated. Cultivated is a mix of the common and meadows. Common comes from forest and meadows. It's just ridiculous. So I'm going to have to basically sit down and keep plotting through the bee tree using, now I've upgraded to an advanced mutatron, the Mutagen here. I have plenty of it. The genetics labware is going to allow me to basically breed 2 different bee types and give me a choice in case there's more than one outcome. I can actually choose the type of bee I get, and it'll give me a new princess by mixing those 2. So underneath, I've been burning down over here a mutagen producer. I've been burning down the Eulorium into quite a lot of mutagen. So I fully expect to need quite a lot of this stuff for the bees. So I've been kind of overworking this mana pool. I tried another arrangement. It didn't work out so well. So I've just been manually transporting the mana with... well, it turns out that it's not updating the graphics properly. So if I were to do a Wand of the Forest on this, it's actually empty. So I have to go through and basically extract mana here from the Rails network and pump it into the main network. So fortunately, the categorize have been more than able to provide that mana. I improved my cake recipe in this dropper. I need to find a new way to auto feed cakes. So this is going to start. Oops, here we go. I forgot that I have to take off my ring of magnetization. So that's going to continue to drop the cakes and place it down, and basically give me a near infinite mana source. So I've been needing all of that mutagen, and I barely scratched starting to make one of these. So my problem is I don't really have enough princesses. So I managed to breed a couple of pristine stock. Now pristine basically means that it'll last forever. It's always guaranteed to at least produce another pristine princess, and that will loop forward once this moves forward to the end. So it turns out that the lifespan negative is actually a good thing because it forces additional generations of the bees. And so all I have to do is basically work through the Mutatron, and build myself some some new types of bees. So I didn't really make any other improvements. I upgraded the sugarcane farm to a AgriCraft version, so hopefully this will speed up the gathering of. It turns out I was starting to run low on sugar, of all things. Oh, right. So over here in Thaumcraft World, I finally finished producing all of the alchemical TNT, alchemite that I need. I have 1,000, so I was hoping I could just finish off that for the hoarding quest. Let's go down here to the BNA. I'll have to talk about that. But alchemite, so I'm going to need 1,000 alchemite here. So let me grab one of them. Alchemite. And let's get let's set the quest book. Select task. Oh, let's try that again. I didn't see the message. Alchemite, select task. Let's head back over to the turn-in area. Right click. Okay, alchemite. And let's start the turn-in process. Great. Alright, so that's already starting to chuck through. So, done. So let me pull that back out. And complete the quest. That's going to get me a reward bag and a rare treasure. Awesome. So another thing I was working on, okay, BNA. So now that I'm producing a lot of Meadows drones, I worked out that I have to pump in quite a lot. So here at the DNA extractor, the Meadows drones are being pumped in through the connection to the ME system. So the yellow network is the private ME system for just the bees. And so I have quite a lot. Yeah, I have another. There we go, meadow. So another 500 some bees here, and those are going to pipe in and basically get. I get to the DNA. So if we take a look at the Meadows drone and look at what we can basically do with it. So with a DNA extractor, each Meadows drone creates 100 DNA. So it takes 10 bees to make one bucket. And I need, for the quest, I need 500 buckets. So I'm essentially going to need 5,000 bees. So I'm just going to let this run for a while and collect up my DNA. So when these two buckets are full at 256 and 256, then I'll have my 512 buckets worth. So I just basically need to just, again, set and forget and let this grow up to basically fill the two drums. So sorry about that. Let's go take a look at one other thing. So Agrarian. So here I have, for a cheeseburger, I need to make 100 deluxe cheeseburgers. And so I set up the formulas here in the production table to basically make hamburgers, cheese. Cheese are going to be made with fresh milk and pot and salt. I need firm tofu and toast to make a hamburger. So I think I had scripted everything else. That what I wanted to do was here just make up a deluxe cheeseburger. I need 100. Let's eat a brain. And 100. I should have every formula. Yep, and start. So this is going to just crank down for quite a bit. You know, I'd been making the lettuce and tomato over in the farm. Actually, tomato was one of the first things I was able to craft. And, you know, milk is just breaking down the milk buckets. I think I showed how to make the milk buckets. Wheat, you know, I had hundreds of thousands, so making toast and bread was just basically combining them and then putting through a furnace in order to make the toast. Salt, I was able to get a formula by, I think, involving water buckets. And of course, the tofu is going to be made by pushing soybeans through the press. Soybeans, I ended up getting, I think I showed how I purchased the seed through the Pam's market. And so that's just shoving soybeans through the phyto fertilizer machine in order to make more soybeans. And the last part then would be basically waiting for all this silicon tofu and firm tofu to process. And at this point, I can just let this tick. So, oh, my life. So you'll notice I now have green hearts. So I sat down and cranked through all of the heart canister upgrades. I was sitting here and basically I was finally getting tired of getting my butt kicked. So under Tinker's Construct, the miniature red hearts. Well, it turns out that there is a formula under Thaumcraft to convert diamond into hearts. So I don't know why I overlooked this. For some reason, I was thinking that I had to kill. It was one of the very first things I got actually under protection. So hearts of every color can be made by pumping essence into the crucible. And at that point, it's just a matter, I set up the formulas to basically make hearts in bulk. And then crafting the canisters was really easy. Necrotic bones I've been getting from the wither skeletons who were dropping bones but not their skulls. And, you know, apple was just diamonds in an apple. Canisters were just aluminum. And so It's basically able to just work right through all the canisters, and I now have the equivalent of 40 hearts. So I should have done this long ago, but I think with this many hearts, I actually stand a chance of lasting longer in the outer lands without panicking so much. And we'll just have to see how that goes. So I'm going to start crafting bees in between episodes. So hopefully when I come back, I'll have something to report. Maybe I'll just walk through one or two of them to show how it's done. And so with that, I'm calling this an episode. So if you could leave a comment or a like, and I will see you next time on Agrarian Skies 2. Bye.